A skeleton named Skelly lived in a town full of creaky old bones. All the other skeletons liked to do skeleton things. They practiced their spooky scares. They polished their skulls until they gleamed. Skelly was different. Skelly just wanted to dance. He heard music in the rattling of his own bones. He felt rhythm in the whistling of the wind through his ribs. Other skeletons did not understand. They would stop and stare. Their bony jaws would drop open. Skeletons do not dance, one grumbled, his voice a dry rattle. Skeletons are for scaring, not for swaying. Another skeleton, tall with a dusty top hat, just shook his head. He looked at Skelly with empty eye sockets, full of disappointment. Skelly tried to show them. He would wiggle his spine. He would tap his toe bones. He would spin around on one foot, his arms flailing with joy. The others just clattered their teeth and walked away. This made Skelly's ribcage feel a little empty. He would sit alone on a crypt tombstone, watching the bats fly by. His bony shoulders would slump. He just wanted someone to share his joy, but no one seemed to get it. He was the only dancing skeleton in a town of stiff spooks. One day, a fancy invitation appeared. It was tied to a spider web on Skelly's door. The invitation was for the annual Halloween ball. The ball was the biggest event of the year. Every monster, ghost, and ghoul would be there. A thrill went through Skelly's bones. He pictured a grand ballroom. He imagined music filling the air. He thought about dancing all night. Then his shoulders slumped again. The other skeletons would be there. They would watch him. They would judge him. What if they laughed at his moves? What if they told him to stop? He folded the invitation and tucked it into his ribcage. He was not sure if he should go. He looked at his own reflection in a puddle. He saw a skeleton who looked a little sad. He lifted one foot and did a small, uncertain tap. A little spark of joy returned. He decided he would go. He would go and he would be himself. The night of the Halloween ball arrived. The ballroom was in a huge, spooky castle. Jack-o'-lanterns glowed with happy, flickering faces. Ghosts floated through the walls, their forms shimmering. The room was full of monsters. A vampire with a slick cape chatted with a werewolf. A witch stirred a cauldron bubbling with green punch. Skelly walked in, his bones clicking nervously on the stone floor. He saw the other skeletons. They stood in a corner, stiff and silent. They were trying to look as scary as possible. The band, a group of zombies, started to play. The music was slow and gloomy. Monsters shuffled around the dance floor. It looked more like a funeral than a party. Skelly watched for a moment. This was not the music he felt in his soul. This was not the party he had imagined. He felt that familiar disappointment begin to creep back in. Skelly took a deep breath, or he would have if he had lungs. He walked to the zombie band leader. The zombie had one eye that looked in two different directions. "Excuse me," Skelly said, his voice a quiet clatter. "Could you play something funky?" The zombie grunted. He looked at his bandmates. They shrugged their rotting shoulders. The zombie guitarist hit a new chord. A groovy beat filled the room. It was fast. It was fun. It made you want to move. The other monsters stopped their gloomy shuffling. They looked confused. The skeletons in the corner crossed their arms. Skelly closed his eye sockets. He let the music take over. He started with a simple toe tap. Then his knees started to bend. His hips started to sway. He was doing his favorite move, the bony shuffle. Skelly spun onto the dance floor. His arms waved in the air. His legs kicked out. He did a move where he detached his head and juggled it. Then he reattached it without missing a beat. A few little ghosts giggled. A young werewolf stared, his jaw on the floor. The other skeletons just stared, their faces frozen in disapproval. "What is he doing?" one whispered. "This is embarrassing," another muttered. Skelly did not hear them. He was lost in the music. He slid across the floor on his spine. He jumped up and clicked his heel bones together. He was having the time of his life. He was not just dancing, he was expressing himself. This was who he was. A small Frankenstein's monster, previously hiding behind his father's legs, took a hesitant step onto the floor. He tried to copy Skelly's arm wave. Soon, the little monster was giggling and trying to spin. A mummy started to unravel his bandages to give himself more room to move. The vampire ditched his cape and started doing a surprisingly good robot dance. The whole dance floor started to fill up. Ghosts were boogieing, goblins were grooving. The party had completely changed. The gloomy shuffling was gone. The room was now full of laughter and energy. The zombie band played even louder, a real smile on the drummer's decaying face. The skeletons in the corner were the only ones not moving. They watched as Skelly, the skeleton they called Silly, became the star of the party. He was not just a dancing skeleton. He was the life of the Halloween ball. He was not weird. He was wonderful. Skelly saw the other skeletons watching. He spun over to them. He offered a bony hand to the one with the top hat. The skeleton hesitated, then took Skelly's hand. Skelly showed him a simple step. Soon, all the skeletons were dancing. Their spooky glares were replaced with wide, bony grins. Skelly had shown them that being different is what makes you special. He had shown them that everyone has their own dance. Thanks for coming along with us for this magical adventure. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Good night, little one.